Okay. Okay, I'm ready. Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. This is just a short discussion we'd like to have. And this one is called Forest Auto. And it's dedicated to Abdullah and Yasser down at the Forest Auto. It's not a wanted poster or anything like that, but it's just, well, it's a little strange. But we'll get into it anyway. We'll start with, we'll go backwards a little bit. If you were to look outside, you would see a yellow Volkswagen. It's a Volkswagen I had bought for my daughter years ago to start the school, but it just so happens that they couldn't take cars up to the school. She was a girls' school up there in Boston. So I just kept it. Actually, it just sat there a while. I took it down to Forest Auto a couple of months ago, and they told me, well, it's just a little fuel exchange gadget or something. Then they came back and told me, no, it's a fuel pump that you need. Then after that, they told me, oh, they got 2 fuel pumps in the Volkswagen that year, so we have to go get another one. Finally, I got it, and it cost $440. And I drove it out there, and I parked it, and I tried to start it up, and it wouldn't start. And that's why it's still there. It's still there because it just wouldn't start. So I brought a jumper cable over and put a truck there and tried to start it again, and it still wouldn't start. So it reminded me of one of the first times I had bought a car to Forestville Auto. It was over by the Citgo station at that time. And at that time, Fatima Jackson, the big professor, had given me a nice Volvo, a blue Volvo. And because I was doing a lot of cars at that time, and I got it here, and after I went out to get it hooked up again, it wouldn't start. And then I had somebody look at it, and finally I took it to the station down there, and the brother told me something, oh, it was just out of gas or something like that. That was one of the first experiences I remember with Forest Auto. The point is this: we've been dealing with the United States government here for a long time. And this goes back maybe almost 20 years now. And so we began to have a Volvo problem. A Volvo problem was I would get a good running Volvo because I kind of like them. And then when I'd go out to start them, they wouldn't start. So I called it the Volvo disease. So I would have them taken to, and then, but they couldn't even find out themselves. Oh, we don't know what that is. So what I did was I started buying a lot of Volvos, mostly older ones with high mileage, and I called them disposable cars. So that's why you see so many cars now. I have cars in California, just all over the place. They're disposable cars. So if I drive a Volvo out there and it stops, or if I'm out on the highway, I'll pull it over and leave it. Just pack up and go. Now I done with a nice Volvo. This was a nice one. It was, yeah, a white Volvo, just like the one we got out there, station wagon. Really ran good. So I was headed to California with my family, and we got 100 miles out on the highway, and it stuck. Of course, it was just after I bought brand new tires. That became one of my signs. Be careful about putting new tires or putting a big investment in the cars, because as soon as I did, I had several of them. The minute I brought brand new tires, whop, that boy. But this one, I drove it out. It was going out, and all of a sudden, I said, this is strange for Volvos. My whole family's in the car. We're actually headed to California. We're going to go to the Grand Canyon and see all that stuff. And we're going to a program out there. And I always drive to programs, mostly. So anyway, the car stopped. So I pulled into a rest stop and turned around trying to get back here. When I tried to get back here, I had to pull off the next exit, and it would stop. It just wouldn't start, wouldn't do nothing. So I left the car. It's a nice running Volvo, brand new tires and everything. I came back here and got that taxi cab. Brother gave us a taxi cab. I loaded up the cab with my family. We headed out again. When we got to Kansas City, it's like when you cross, it's like it didn't want to go into Kansas. So we flutter around, and we go around in Kansas by the stadium, Kansas City, somebody. Then we come back to Kansas City, Missouri. Pulled in, I said, we just gonna get a little hotel. We got a hotel, stayed there a couple of days. And after I took the car, I took my family. I said, this ain't gonna work. I put them on the train, just to get on the train real quick. It was a family of 3. That thing cost $680. I said, good God Almighty. But I put them on anyway. The minute I put them on the train, because see, I'm gonna catch a plane, and I'm gonna go on to California. As soon as they got on the train, I went out and got in the car. So good God Almighty, run like a top. But I didn't have time to drive to California now. So I got a ticket, which is kind of expensive when you get it right at the last minute. I drove to the airport in Kansas City, parked the car, got on the plane, went to the program in California, came back to the airport in Kansas City, got my car, drove it on back here. It's 1,100 miles. Remember, it wouldn't go into Kansas. So what is wrong with this car? I mean, I was used to it. I know what's going on. The minute I sent my family back here, $680. Just one way from Kansas City. When you buy a ticket the last minute, you don't get no freebies or nothing. Anyway, I rolled back here, drove the car up to Philadelphia twice, up and back, and then I left it in Philadelphia. I was supposed to sell it to Jamal, Sister Bahia's son, for just gift price, $400. I never got $400, but he got the car. It's no problem. So the other Volvo, I had a nice Volvo. All these are pretty, in fact, the nice ones are the ones that so beautiful station wagon. I'd had it now a couple of years. I drove it down to Florida. I took the family to Florida twice in that boy. So I already know how it run. And then I got back here. And one time, when I took it to Forestville Auto, took it there 3 times. I said, man, the car is heating up. You know what I mean? So he fixed the little heat thing, you know what I mean? And he said, yeah, see, this here was where it was rubbing. And you could see, yeah, it was rubbing. And then I came back. I said, it's still overheating. So he did something else, and I drove on off. And I came back the 3rd time. He said, you don't have no problem. Just jump on in that boy and go about your business. Now, at that time, I had to go to a funeral out in Manassas. Salahuddin's wife had passed. I drove out there. Now, remember, I'm taking his word. That's it. Shoot, I got on that boy, me and Sister Bahia, and we was headed out that way. And the car blew up. The engine got hot, but the signal didn't say, didn't say hot. I'm just rolling. This is one of the best running Volvos I had. If y'all remember a white Volvo station wagon, sat out there for a couple of years. Brand new tires. That's what I should have never brought, no new tires. So it sat out there for years. But that means the car blew up. I had to pay to have it towed back here, a couple $100. And I went and told the brother, I thought maybe since you told me it was perfect to drive and the engine blew up, that maybe, you might something, nothing. Anyway, the point I'm making is, I'm going to skip a lot of stuff because I just want to really get to the second program. So, there's a Sudanese brother work out there called Yasser. I don't know if y'all ever. Yasser, he works out there. So he would be mumbling to me, Imam Musa, you think such and such. He was trying to tell me that and he would tell the boss. He has it Abdul, I think it's Abdullah. He would tell the boss, Sudanese brother, that for 10, 15 years, he donated several $1,000s every Ramadan for us. Maybe it was conscious money or something, but he got that back in you know what I mean? And going down there. So maybe it was conscious money. I went there and I saw what I consider an FBI agent that was standing there with him, and they was doing the old time, we're going to stare you down. The police, the white man, which usually not no white men out that way. And they just looking at me, and he has a government look. Okay, fine. Maybe he wanted me to know that, how it go. Shoot, I had another Volvo. This was a good one, boy, but it had, we was driving to Arkansas somewhere. We were driving to Texas to a program. When I got to the town I used to live in Arkansas, it was at one night, we had a real big bump. But the tire didn't go flat. Now, we got a load of books and everything. So I went to where my sister had a house a while back. At that time, my nephew was living. This is a nice house. I was living there. Pine Bluff, Arkansas. So anyway, when I got up in the morning and we drove off, the tire blew out, you know what I mean? When we hit that heavy bump, it didn't blow the tire, but it, did something inside of it. When we got out on the road, the car wouldn't, and the tire went flat. All of a sudden, all these Texas crackers with trucks and everything. By the way, one forgot to pull his fraternal order, the police thing, off of his truck. The decal they have. There's no problem. So when I pulled in, pulled off the highway, I just took the little thing and I was gonna unloosen the back tire and get underway. The only thing is, you couldn't loosen it. Here, these white men, they got all kind of tools. They're helping me take this off, and they working at it. They focused on it, and finally, they get a long pole like this, a long cylinder, stick that in the end of the little rod to give it some leverage. Finally, they cracked it. So we got the tire off. Then when we got to Dallas, we put on another tire and went to the program. We came on back here. When I went to buy some new tires, they couldn't take them off. So then I took them to Forest Auto, and he tried to take them off and couldn't. So after I went to another place and another place, I finally went on Branch Avenue. As soon as you're leaving D.C., this tire place on the right-hand side. And the white man was there. I said, can you tell me what happens if you got 4 tires and you can't get none of them off? I said, is that normal? He said, no, somebody used Loctite on you. Loctite means they just spray that boy and it's froze. And he was telling me what somebody used on my rim, the Loctite. You couldn't get them off. I mean, there's a way to get them off. Finally, I found out that you put it up on the thing, and then you hit it with a rubber hammer. Whop, whop, and it'll shake it loose a little. So that happened. A little bit of Loctite. I said, man, this is cold-blooded. So I have a lot of experiences with cars. So I may not know how to fix it, but I kind of got a smell for what it is. You know what I mean? But that's another. Anyway, the long story short is, 4 or 5 years ago, Yasser started hitting to me. He thought I didn't know what was happening. So he would loud talk his boss. And he would say something, what about such and such? He was trying to tell me, he didn't already talk, he's telling his boss, you shouldn't do that to the brother. Now, when we did the car this time, just a month or 2 ago, he was serious about it this time, because I said, well, you know, part of the Islamic movement, da-da-da-da. And he said, I told you, that's what Yasser was saying to him. Yasser, they're out there right now. You can check with Yasser. If he agrees, that's fine. If he don't, it don't make me no difference, because for me to get to the point that I'm saying what I'm saying, it's like 20 years old. It's old, it's a long time. Finally, last year, 2 years ago now, said, well, you told Brother Tufel that we won't be able to help Masjid al-Islam anymore with, the Ramadan thing. I said, oh, that's fine. We got, we hustle up, we hustle up, first of all, before anybody helped us, we hustled up our own stuff, and then when somebody helped, it didn't help but a couple of days, few days. It's nice, but it's still, it don't cover no, if you think I'm jiving, you go out there and shop once or twice with a full spread and see what it costs if you think it's just they're giving away food out there. Anyway, so The point is that we're a part of the Islamic movement. It's not that we're a part of the Islamic movement. Technically, as far as surviving go, I would say that we hate to be exclusive, the only survivors. We have 40 years of the Islamic movement in America. And ain't nobody been playing with us at all, none of that time. Okay. Not only that, but we knew what we was doing before we even got into what we was doing. We already knew what to look for along the highway. So, the thing I want to talk about a little bit today is ethics. Ethics. Morality. Longevity, the ability to be around a long time. Man, if you only knew what longevity does. Longevity, remember Martin Luther King's last speech in Memphis? He said longevity, when at the bent to the mountaintop, he said longevity has its place. But I may not get there with you, the promised land, that is. But I've seen the promised land, you know, whatever. Maybe this is it right here. We just don't know it's promised land. He said longevity has its place. The other thing, our heroes, the latest ones, if you take Malcolm and King, neither one of them had longevity. Malcolm, just 1952 to 1965, 13 years. But by the time when they messed with his family, you could see him at the window with a rifle. You see that famous picture? He's not paranoid, I just call it sensitive. He didn't get a chance to evolve over decades. Can you imagine? In the Islamic movement, it's been 40 years. But in the movement, it's been over 50 years. Can you imagine? And not at the bottom running around, but right in there, near the top, and pretty soon you become a target. The target. Okay, so later on we're going to talk about this targetism, because it would sound like bragging a little bit. But in this targetism, we're the target. Our program coming up is, remember we had the thing, representative of the oppressed. That we represent the broad, in the United States, the oppressed. Overseas, Iran might be that representative. Okay. Now, here, we're inside of America. I want you to imagine what they do to people in America. If you look at this, this is old, but this is real. Imam Khomeini is still alive, right? Imam Abdul Alim Musa, Palestine. Here's a Sudanese brother, one of the Sudanese leaders, right here. Pakistani leader. No, what are they going to do if you're on the front page of these newspapers? Front page. Sri Lanka. Welcome Imam Abdul Alim Musa. Da, 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 da. All that stuff. Sri Lanka. At Sri Lanka, they were saying this is the Malcolm X of today. Let's see here. Armed intruders attacked Masjid al-Islam in Oakland. Armed intruders attacked Masjid al-Islam in Oakland. Okay. Sabotage. Death threats against Imam Musa, and now grand larceny of Masjid al-Islam accounts. You ain't never heard nobody that have an account and the government take them off the account and put somebody else on with no paperwork, just nothing. We asked them in court the last time, and I asked them a few months back when I said, show me any paperwork that you have that allows you to do all of this stuff. Show me anything that allows you to do this. Imam Musa assaulted in Oakland, California. That's the one assault. This is in August. This is in October. This is one assault. The other one is in August. They attacked the masjid. These Negroes got guns and they just attacking the masjid. They kicking the doors. They go into town. My son had one friend. He body slammed one of the guys, and then his gun fell out. So when then some of the other guys, maybe on our team, moved toward the gun, the other police, they had, Now the night before, one of the Arab guys looked like this new, not Taliban, what would they, huh? Look, the new ISIS. That's why I liked it, because it gave me the perfect picture of what the new ISIS in America looked like. Full beard, young guy. He come to the masjid. Yeah, I want to pray. Of course, I've seen it before. I knew. I said, no, this is Maghrib time. I just got here from on the plane. I said, no, you can't. So I done told y'all the story before. So he gonna pray anyway. I said, no, you got to get out of here. So I ease him around the masjid, and he's in a perfect defensive mode, like he's been trained. Slide back this way, slide back that way. But when I got up on him, he leaned forward and reached back there, just perfect police style. I said, I told you. And I used some other words. Use the police. Because I could see the holster sticking down 3 inches right back there. And he moved, leaning forward. You know where the police, he leaned forward. I said, oh yeah, we got you now. That was the day before. That was Thursday night. So on Friday, we knew what to expect. They came there. Finally, they couldn't get nothing. I had Diamond Jim there. I had some people as witnesses. When they stole the phone, they did this, had the speaker outside. They did it military style. Was one thing about it, they do everything military. That's what is clear. They have military precision. They get trained like an army or police force. That's how they act. They don't just stumble up and, yeah, man, they don't do that. It's all zoop, zoop, zoop. At the same time, I think dear Khadijah, she sneaked, run up behind me, and actually technically knocked me down. That's what the paper says. She did, from behind. Anyway, she's not no small girl. She's been trying to lose weight since I've been talking about her weight. But anyway, that stuff is not important, but what's important about this stuff is this. What do the government do to somebody that see all this? This is the Rahbar. You hear in the news about Iran? This is the Rahbar. It ain't no Negro in the world got no picture with the Rahbar. And for Sudanese, you can see the brother right there. That's Sudanese. By the way, since we're talking about Sudan, I want to remind y'all of something. I'll get back to these pictures. Years ago, a lot of the Sudanese brothers used to go to our masjid over on A Street. Tons of Sudanese brothers. In fact, all of them out this way. It's one of the main reasons they opened that joint down. It used to be open around there. African guys there to suck them away. And to suck Negroes away too. But the Negroes went later. The Sudanese went. Technically, the Sudanese went when we had a program here. They was talking about war in the southern Sudan, this, that, and other, and Janjaweed and all of that. So we had a meeting, all the people in the area, Darl Hitch and all of them. We had a meeting over at the Sudanese ambassador's house. So we did a lot of little things. On the side, I told them, the Sudanese ambassador, you can come over and have a program at the masjid. And the Sudanese ambassador came and he gave a good talk. We wanted him to explain his side. Okay, Sudan got different crews. So our brothers that went to the masjid, they didn't like the Sudanese ambassador, nor did they like the Sudanese Ikhwanis, like Hassan Tarabi and all that. They didn't like. And I tried to explain to them. When we went to the Sudan, I said, our issue is African Americans. I said, they tell black women that you accept Islam, you're going to have to get female genital mutilation. You remember that when they was talking about that? All you heard all day long on all the news, all over the country. And here they got the black stations, female genital mutilation. Now that means the woman accept Islam, that's the way they putting it out, she's going to have an operation on her vagina to get the sensitive part clipped out. Now suppose you was a lady thinking about Islam. What would you do? Then the issue of slavery in the Sudan. One thing about slavery and Negroes, don't know Negro in America, when he hear about slavery, he don't want to have nothing to do with anything associated with slavery. So they saying in the Sudan, they got slavery. And the Europeans, let's call them white folks, was going over there, Christian Euros, going over and liberating slaves. It was a big joke. Here's what's happening. You hear that it's a group of people here that they here to liberate slaves. So today, I take you. I said, this here is my slave. How much you giving for him? $500. Just imagine $500 in Sudan, in US dollars. Huh? Now the next day, he take me. This nigga here belong to me. You get all your cousins and everybody, hey man, it's a free-for-all. Christian money, white Christian money, for non-existent slavery. It ain't no slavery in the Sudan, right? But they read newspapers. They got radio broadcast. A lot of people speak English and they just waiting on them to get there to liberate. So the reason for us, the only issue about Sudan and Sudanese was we're doing dawah to African Americans. Those two subjects, female genital mutilation and slavery, was affecting our, that's why we took the Christian brothers, a couple of preachers, and we took the People's Republic, we took some of the African liberation remnants of them to Sudan, because they was believing it too. Hadari arranged it. He used to work over Sudanese embassy. And we went over there. Could nobody find not one slave in the whole place? He said, I said, look, they told, anyway, So our brothers, when we had the program for Sudan here, they was telling us all the time, we don't like them. This is Sudanese here. Okay, we said, we don't have nothing to do with, I said, we don't have nothing to do with this group, that group, that group. What we have is an issue. You think the Americans, if we don't know the difference, you know the Americans don't know the difference between groups. All they know is Sudan is, they had the Janjaweed, supposed to be the white, the light-skinned Arabs, right? It was a joke because, anyway. So the joke is this. We have to tell the people, look, we don't have nothing to do with the different groups. If we don't know the difference between y'all, how do you think the Americans? You have to tell us the group you're a part of, right? They have to say, yeah, well, we da-da-da-da-da, and this is where we coming from. Well, I mean, you get a chance to, Hassan Tarabi, Kwani type. Hassan Tarabi, my wife and I at the time went down. He spoke at the Department of Strategic Studies or something downtown. And when he was in the car, the Southern Sudanese was shaking the car and the police was standing right there. They didn't do nothing because Southern Sudanese was Christians and he's a Muslim. When we sat down in the place, he was sitting there by himself, Hassan Tarabi, with him and one man. My wife and I sat right in back of him for security. He was coming over to Masjid, whatever it is over there, the chief's place on 4th Street. When I drove off the hill, because I said, hey man, I was talking on the phone to different brothers, and I said, hey, we're going to have to go over there and we're going to have to get him some security. He's going all around the country. When I drove off the hill, I got arrested, and they just held me till the meeting was over. So ain't no problem. And then Hassan Tarabi, when he went around, a martial artist Sudanese whacked him upside the head, and he was in a coma for how long? Long time. That happened. We was going to tell him, and I told him we gotta, of course I should have known better, the boss man gonna be listening. I'm telling you that we understand all the fitna that we're involved in. We just understand it and it's no problem. Okay?
Mm-hmm. But when I came back and brothers, African American brothers that were part of the community,
mm-hmm.
they were like, man, they had an idea of the Sudanese brothers that were here
Mm-hmm.
in reference to the program.
Right.
It was interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
They kind of took, they kind of looked at the community too, like, man, that didn't look good.
Right. Right, right.
Because you didn't take sides.
No, I didn't take sides. That the people, do the African American take sides? They don't know. And our brothers knew that we're saying Sudan. It don't make no difference what group, because don't nobody know the difference between one Sudanese and another. But at this time, the Sudanese ambassador is speaking for them. That's why we did that program 20 years ago, something outside the Sudanese embassy. That was a long time ago. Outside the Sudanese embassy. Okay, we don't have nothing to do with the different crews, even when we talk about Iran and other places, and we know something about that. We know we say, look, we support, this is what we support. All that other, we don't have nothing to do with. But anyway, suppose, now you got to remember, all this stuff, when the police, just backtracking, when the police come finally, right here, all it did, the lady took a phone picture of me out in front of my shit, and all this stuff is kind of still going on. The police blocked the way so the other guys causing the trouble could run away. So they could run away. So you can ask yourself, what's going on? But everything I'm telling you is true. About the Sudanese, about this, that, and other. Now we're talking about Forest Auto. We're talking about sabotaging our cars for decades. That's what we're talking about. Suppose you got a picture. Boy, if you saw somebody they hate is Ahmadinejad, right? The president, that president, don't like him. And our line, the decline and fall of the American empire. Now, suppose they get up in the morning and they happen to see this in a folder. What? That's July 24th, 2011. Where's America headed now? How can it even get out of the dilemma? They just had 3 million, now is it 33 million or 35? 33.5 million people unemployed in 5 weeks. And you know, that's not the whole story. Imagine the people, let's get a phone call. Ain't nobody here. Call back next year. That's why they can crack your brother upside his head and it don't make no difference. And the police get a statement at the hospital, and I call them a couple of times next day. Think about it, you have a phone record on your phone, and when you check it, it calls the police department. Nigerian army massacre nearly 1,000 Muslims. Actually, you added up, it's more. This is a personal friend of mine. Supposing all the people that they don't like, your personal friends. I might have showed y'all pictures of Allama Zakzaki and all that. But see, he lost, how many sons did he lose? I thought it was 4. 6 sons. No, I believe you. 6 sons. They're trying to kill off his whole bloodline. In fact, when I see I guess they have, because when I see anything related to him now, it's one of his daughters. No more sons. So guess what? When my son get pumped up 6 or 7 bullet holes in him, at least 6 bullet holes is in the hospital. And you can see that arm going straight out and straight down. Hey man, that boy, the bullet broke his arm. Hey, right? So he's still alive. You think I say, hey man, y'all on a roll. Everybody else getting killed. Walayati Faqih is a defense against global fitna. All right. How do they feel? When I talk about the triangle of terror, look at this Hajj visa. This is a Hajj visa. Look at that beard. That boy is pure black. That means it's 1987 or 88, one of them, something. They sent me my Hajj visa after Hajj. Yeah, they said, yeah, you can come, but there ain't nobody there. Right, everybody gone. That's cold-blooded. That's a Hajj visa. Then the next year, they assaulted, they killed all the people at Hajj, 600 people, Iranians. I said, hey man, I'll just go some other time. Because, they seem to, I go there, this one of them Shia lovers shoot. Many friends that I have, got chopped up and put in suitcases in Saudi Arabia. Revolution from Egypt to the Americas. What I'm trying to show you is that we have international prominence. The morality and the ethics, oh yeah, just to show you, because we're going to do a lot of fundraising. We're not begging people for money, because this is when the Negro was pretty rich. That's bad. So if you didn't live in that period, you couldn't tell how sharp that was. That is sharp. Mink hat, ruffle shirt. Look at the contrast. Everything is perfect. Brown and beige, mink, tan and shit. But that's sharp. See, nowadays, niggas dress in the color, they look like flags and clowns. I said, we didn't dress like that. Absolutely not. You had to be symmetric. Tell the truth. You couldn't, no, sir. This here, black and white, just like the car. Right? Sharp as a tack. You can't get no sharper than that unless you turn into a clown. I got one picture in front of the car with the opposite, black and white. I don't like that. So that look a little clownish. I ain't gonna even show you. But the point is, in Oakland, they don't talk about all this stuff right here. They talk about this stuff, man, that today, like it was big. And a lot of the old friends, especially the ladies, they remember that like the high point of their life. It's the high point of their life. So we're not asking nobody for help because we're broke. When we went to Africa, we took money there for the people. If you were to look at some of those pictures, it ain't just me there. If you could see all over here, you could tell this is a whole big square. This is white folks from up in Russia, all that Sufis. They from the Caucasus. If you want to see a real Caucasian, there they are. They from the Caucasus. That's where they are from. Head of the Palestinian movement, head of the Pakistani movement. Hey, what do you think these people think if the Negro is rubbing elbows with people that he don't like? Tactics deployed against the movement. You think it's new stuff they do here? This thing here must be 97. It ain't new. Psychological guerrilla warfare worked. Well, I don't have to show you all of these. I'll show you those later. Here's the point I'm making. Ethics. We're asking our brother to donate $25,000, which ain't much, for whatever you want to call it. Annoyance. It's been annoying. This is an annoyance. And one of the reasons I'm doing it, see, the little Volkswagen is just $400, $440. But right now, $440 adds up to something. Usually it don't mean nothing. We just shoot, you just signing this, signing that, buying this, that. It's just no. But right now, we got a lot of stuff we're getting ready to do. I'm just going to be brief because we need help doing it. Being a target, we call it things like how to use the position as the target. Counter-targetism intelligence. Counter-targetism. We're already into it. Our position as the target against them. They made us the target. Yeah. Look, whatever you're doing, just don't give up and say it's impossible. They can have you totally surrounded. Totally, 100% surrounded. Do like the guy in the movie said, we got them right where we want them. It's true. You got to think like that. You have to think like that because they feeling around for anything. And when they find it, they use it. If they find out that suppose you'll get mad at them if they do certain things, like a friend of ours, a simple thing. Say, I ain't mad at nobody for doing, that's what they do. Why would I want to be mad at them? Why would I want to be mad? They doing what they've done it all, and they treating us good. Shoot, they kill Indians, they kill everybody. And here you are getting to be past the senior citizen 65. That's 10 years ago. We feel sorry for everybody else, but us, they didn't kill our children. And the daughters, they going along with the program. So I don't have to worry about them. Imagine the relief. They think they're hurting you? You said, no, they ain't hurting nobody. I'm glad. We don't need one person in the family doing this. One is enough, right? No, suppose you had sons is different than daughters. Suppose, it's good to have daughters that are practicing anti-momism. If they practice it, it's good. I don't worry about them. Let their mama brainwash them, and they tell them, you want to save your daddy's life, you want to look at everybody, this happened, that happened, right? I don't say nothing. Not good. Right? Because I don't have to worry about them. That's why you ain't seen me worry about nothing. All the stuff, it don't make no difference what happened. The rule, have fun doing what you're doing. Now, I notice in the world, people can't be having fun, but we're having fun doing what we do. Allah answers our prayers regularly in front of everybody. We asked the man, you just reminded me, to be made a clown out of, buffoonery, clownery, make a fool out of him and look at the TV. It was wonderful. Because see, when a guy don't know he acting like a fool, he looks like even a bigger fool, right? And everybody's looking at it. What did you say about that treatment, the ultraviolet treatment? Or what, can you get the light inside? How you going to get a light inside a nigga without cutting him open? But that's what he was saying, right? We could get the light inside. Did you hear him? He said it. How you going to get the light inside? Or how about bleach and all that stuff? Clean the outside, knocks it out right away, right? Well, what about ingesting? He didn't say ingest technically, but he said, how about maybe shooting a little bit in you? This, man, look here. This is like, actually we didn't ask for that much. We didn't ask for, this is like extra. This is extraordinary clownery. And he was serious too. He wasn't like looking all around. He was just like, yeah, man, this is big. This'll work. It don't make no difference that all the 3-year-old children are taught, read that bottle. As soon as they learn how to read, don't drink this, don't drink that, right? The first thing we learn. Smell it. If it smells kind of chemically, don't touch it. Don't drink it. Good. Not him. Boss man say, hey, man, you think get you a shot glass? I mean, I'm just exaggerating. Take you 3 or 4 slugs of that bleach, and you'll be sparkling inside. We didn't ask for that much. We didn't, but we got it. Why wouldn't we be happy? So I'm not mad at Abdullah down at the place. I'm not mad at him, but I'm telling him you have to have ethics. If you don't believe it, ask Yasser. Yasser was sitting there right next to him, telling him. If you think I'm lying, go down there, get on the phone, go see him tomorrow after Juma. Okay. But part of our work right now is counter-targetism intelligence. Yeah, that's part of our policy. See, we have to go after the main troublemaker in the world is the Zionist entity. The Zionist and its high-techism is actually running the world. There's no doubt about it. They're our focus. We going after Mossad. Yeah, we're going after them. Negroes. Yeah. You think you so bad? Yeah. And then watch out, we make a duo on your behind. And then you see how you deal with that. See, you can sell wolf tickets to me, but Allah will fix your behind up. If he fix up boss man, you don't know what he'll do. He'll scramble all of your stuff. So we're a representative of the oppressed. Counter-targetism, intelligence, network. That's what we setting up. Not we're going to do. We're already doing it. Okay. We have to free the world from the influence of international Zionism. Now, don't forget, we already got As-Sabiqun liberation movement. We already got masjid, school, business, living close together, right? So we already have our focus. And remember, we said we're not going to focus on more than 5 things. Well, we can stretch out a little bit, but that's our focus on those few things. This targetism, this counterintelligence targetism. I mean, look, when they come after you, you use all they weight. If a big guy hitting you with a big board, a lot of people say, the marshal, it'll break your arm, of course. You just step to the side, isn't that right? You don't stand there in front of no big old monster that's coming straight down on you, right? Coming straight at you, you step to the side, you do all that stuff. This is easy. This is our job, too. See, everything that we're talking about here, it was leading somewhere. It's been leading somewhere. Someone has to be or have the privilege and the honor of being the example, the model, to show everybody else. Everybody else, they'll get sick of the stomach, they get a headache if you do one thing to them. One little thing. Shoot, not us, because it's our job. What we're doing, this is our job. This is technically what we asked for. Boss man does not allow you to have just a movement, free, everybody come, COINTEL program, right? The white folks got a thing, what do they call it? Leaderless resistance. They said, you can't do it. We don't believe that. You can do it. It's how you're going to do it. How you're going to use their momentum, their weight, and their brain against them. What they think. They think too, right? What do they think about you? We think about this stuff all the time. All we do is think about this stuff, walking on the trail, laying down. In fact, watching a movie. Shoot, we got a pad watching the movie. Everybody else sees somebody in there. It's a horror movie. They see this. No, we see the white man. This ain't that. That's him right there. I see him. Right? I'm just, when we say the white man, we don't mean a physical man. We just mean what we used to say a long time ago. Okay, so, dear people, This thing about ethics, akhlaq, morality, we're trying to explain who we are so you will know. At least, now this video, we're going to take one of these videos, we're going to give one to the chief down there, and we're going to give one to Yasser. Then we're going to wait 2 weeks. We're going to say, okay, you come on and help us out. You can do this in installments. And plus, we want you to fix the remnants of our cars. We got a van sitting over there, just needs help. We got the car out there that needs help. What else we got? We got 1 or 2 more. We want y'all to fix them so they run. When you put this thing in there, it starts right up. Plus 25,000. Do you know when you go by Forestville Auto or Forest Auto, for the last 5 or 6 months, there's so many cars there you can't get in? Anybody seen that? They have to block the way. That's the payoff. Wasn't like that before. That's the payoff. Only thing I'm saying, that's not worth it. I've had more money than you. You don't have more money than I used to give away. I used to buy people Cadillacs. You fix them. I used to buy people all that. I already know about money. I know what it do. It ain't like this. It ain't nowhere close to what it is now. And that was when money used to be important. You know, like it was like, you know, you come out of the country down in the bayous, and 15 years later, you driving all these big pretty, you know what I mean? You done adapted to the bright lights in the big city. That was big. That was important. This was important to everybody else. It's not important now. The soup lines, 80 years ago was soup lines, people standing there in line. Now, you see them pretty new cars of people driving up, picking up the packages? They're driving cars up. There's no soup line of people standing there, maybe 1 or 2 somewhere. They driving up in brand new cars with air conditioning, movies you can watch, right? Getting food packages. We're going to talk about that later because the worst is yet to come. This boy, it ain't going to hold. It ain't not the way it is. What was it, 3.5 million people today came in on the statistics? Yeah, another 3 million. Let's double that. Don't make no difference. It accumulates every week. The stock market went up several hundred. That's not the way it goes. Bad news makes it go down. You can't even imagine the amount of money they putting together to hold that stock market together to make it look like something. You can't imagine the money they got to spend to keep the people from rebelling. It's probably 74,000 people dead. Wait till it get to be 174,000 people. They sending people back to work. You don't know where this thing is going. But be sure one thing, it's headed down. We'll get into that in a couple of days. In fact, we're going to have a few more lectures. Every other day almost, we're going to have a lecture. It'll be like, they used to have a fireside chat. Was that Franklin? He used to have fireside chat. We're going to have an advisory. We got to talk to our people about what's going on. If everybody else afraid to mention it, we're going to mention where we think things is headed. We either right or wrong, but we're not going to sit here like it ain't nothing going on. Like we don't have to prepare ourselves. Right? Okay. Remember, I'm going to take this. I'm going to just run off a few of them, give one to the guy as soon as you get it duplicated. Then I give one to Yasser. And let me wrap it up because I always get off on a little tangent here, and I meant to be a little more specific. Okay. So our new start is a lot of forecasting to explore the possibilities, two possibilities, the possibilities of what can happen, and they go 3 or 4 ways, 3 or 4 scenarios it could happen, this way, that. And we have to do that, it's our responsibility. And the other possibilities of what the world is going to look like after, 1, 2, 3, again, that's enough. The possibilities, and then, so we'll be ready. You know, nobody else was ready for this, but we was. We was ready for this. You didn't see us take we ain't had we just, boy, this is little stuff like this. We was prepared for January 3rd, remember? We've been talking about that for months. You got to remember, not months, years. We said this. She is Allah getting them ready for something, right? Allah getting them ready for something. We said it over and over again. Najaf and Karbala. They don't know what it is, and the boss man don't know what it is. The minute they assassinated Qasim Soleimani, it brought the mind of the people back to the original revolution. I said, they sound just like they did, and they're acting like it, and they feel like it. That's why right now Iran is doing 3 times as good as America. And they got sanctions that won't wait. Nobody could survive that. But they are. We're proud of it. Okay. Slavery in the Sudan, lectures on ethics and morals. You can't do a certain thing. Sometimes you can get away with it in this world, but you can't get away with it forever on the day of judgment. In this case, we're doing this now. You're not going to get away with this. If you don't come around somewhat, we're just going to make a wanted poster, that's all. We've been had wanted posters on the list for years. Since it was in California, wanted posters of the people. Wanted posters for Abdul Malik. Wanted posters for, what's the name right here? Yeah, that wanted poster. Suspected collaborator, this man, show a picture, he's suspected of collaborating with the United States government on behalf of the state of Israel. Because remember, we're number 1 on whose list? Israelis' list. What's the name? Hannity? He kept acting about, you don't like Jews, do you? Jews, what do you? I love Jews. Jews is fine. I was with one the other day, right? Jews. You know Sean Hannity is whose advisor? Trump's advisor. Good God Almighty. I'm okay. What do you need? What do you think? We can just sit here and talk all this talk and it's all fine? Nobody cares? Bull crap. This is what we wanted. This is what we're getting. We're going all the way with this. Yeah, we're going all the way with this. This is what we want to do. It's hard for somebody else. If you tell people what go on here, they would break out running. They just start running. Where you going? I'm getting away from that. They wouldn't even think about it. But us, this is what we want to do. You can tell. You can tell when you come to the programs, the Juma, you can tell, right? You could tell that we like doing what we're doing. When you like doing it, hey, it ain't bad. It ain't bad at all. So remember, 25 grand. And all Sudanese that's here that got misdirected, y'all should secretly support the Islamic movement here, us. Because when you support us, you support the Islamic movement, not your brand of the Islamic movement, right? Some Ikhwani Sudanese, some, no, you don't have to worry. With us, we're going to come right out of the book. That don't mean we're perfect or nothing, but we're not going to be swayed by this, that, and other. The next program I'm going to do is about Iranians. I'm going to tell them the same thing. Goodbye. Love you. Been loving you all the time. But we ain't into all of that other stuff. We're just not into that. We can read the Quran, we get most of the information out of it, and that's what we're going to do. Well, what about our program? Don't nobody need your dumb program, your dumb madhab, or follow you in your ignorant sheikh. If your sheikh was so smart, he'd be doing something. Right? Tell the truth. We ain't seen him. He ain't been by here. We don't know. We ain't read on the internet. We ain't heard nothing about your boss man, your big chief. So he must be in hibernation. That's all. He's hibernating. Okay. I don't want to go on and on because I have one page here and I've been talking all day. Let me see. About us, yeah. You picked the longest survivor in U.S. history. That's true. We study our history and our movement. Everybody, all the time. That's what we study. You can't find anybody in there with a track record like ours. Number one, the longevity. Number two, the effectiveness. Where did we go and do at a particular time? Every time it was the right place with the right people and the right time. Every time. When we went to Africa, when we went to Algeria, the Black Panther Party was there. They was there flat broke. Some people say we helped them. I don't know. When we went to other parts of Africa, anyway, long story. So we have a track record. You don't have to worry about they're going to run off with the money, they're going to steal the money. That's not what we're about. So we are the longest survivors, active survivors. A couple of our brothers started the Malcolm X Center over in Tanzania. Others come out of prison. You go see them, holler at them, maybe drop off a little something. You just don't hear from them. That ain't no big deal. If you're in prison for 30 or 40 years, and people done deserted you, that has effect on everybody else. It just never had an effect on me. Our best friend, you could tell the way they talk. Hey, the brothers, ain't our brothers, ain't my brothers. When I was over there, they left me there with nothing. Me and my wife, they carry that. You know what I mean? It's all right to be broke here in America. You're from America, but when you broke overseas, you broke. I mean, you're broke. They don't forget that. Some people, I would forget it. Okay, I just knew the rules. From the gangster world, when boss man pointed at you, everybody gonna break and run. You're the target. That's the rule. If you need money, you're not to take it with you. You're not to take it with you. That's just the rule. You can't go over there and say, Black power, free the land, and all that. Free the land. Shoot. You better free yourself there, brother. And they don't like it, you know. In fact, what we understand is money we took, it helped the brothers move from one place to another. It helped them. They was flat broke. They were broker than I thought, but after years, you find out they were flat broke. And they had to depend on the Algerian government for everything, and they wasn't going to give them nothing extra, right? But when we got there, look at the years. 71, by 72, everybody was gone here, there, and all. Because they had the money. They hadn't had the money before. Okay, I'm just trying to tell you. So we're a long survivor. We thank Allah for the attitude and all of that stuff. It's not something, look, you have to study yourself like you study everything else. Certain things were a gift from Allah. They are a gift from Allah. All this attitude, the way you look at stuff, that's a gift from Allah. The only thing is you're going to be asked about it on the day of judgment. I gave you big muscles. Yeah, what did you do with them? Oh, I just flexed on the beach and the girls liked it. Good, take you and your muscles on to the fire then, right? Right? I gave you this, that, and another. See, Allah knows what He gave us. How did you use that? How did you use that? That's the only criteria. How do you use Allah's gifts? It's not the only criterion, but it's the name. Okay, so I'll close with this. 25,000 as soon as possible. And for whatever it is, cars stopping on the highway, all this, putting the car, key in the car, just won't start. Take your car over here and it's parked in the airport parking lot and it come out, you won't. You know, that would stop most people. It would, just those things, not just those things, but a combination, it'll stop people. You don't know what. Evidently, it stops people because nobody is doing anything. So they stopped, right? Okay, we thank y'all very much. Brother Yasser, I'm depending on you to remind your boss down there that he should have did the right thing. Now you get a chance to make up for it. Get a chance to make up for it. And believe me, I know how the government is. You can help bring some people from Sudan. You can help bring them over another way. Let's bring them over another way. All I can tell you is you got Islam already. You can't get nothing better than that. You just say nothing. Forget it. You'll be looking for forever. You already got it, so now practice it. Like I say, I'm going to put this one and another one in a package, and then I'm going to do one on Iran. If we can get there quick enough. All right. Thank you very much. As-salamu alaykum.